Shalom ubracha and good morning, or good afternoon, like we say, because who knows when you're watching this. And I want to welcome everybody from Shnayim Yomi, the Heilige Shnayim Yomi world. Welcome back to Parshas Vayeishev. We're holding Shlishi over here. Yosef is getting closer. Yosef approaches the brothers, the Shvatim, and what do? They just plan to kill him. And Reuven said, wait, let's throw him into a pit. He planned to come and save him. They end up grabbing him, they take the ksenes pasim off of him, and they throw him into a pit. Now this pit was loaded with snakes and scorpions, which if you think about it, which many of us don't, we're like, oh, there was snakes and scorpions, it was crazy. Okay, right there, where are we going for pizza? You know what I'm saying? If you stop for a second and you think about that, it's a crazy thing. He was thrown into a bar, into a pit, and there were scorpions. You know, scorpions are venomous, they're dangerous. So are snakes. It's a very, very scary matzav. You ever had a cockroach in your kitchen? You know what I'm saying? Imagine a scorpion. It's a scary thing. And Yosef, 17 years old, thrown into a pit. It's a pachad. Sometimes it's kedai to stop for 1 second and just try to think like, whoa, what was he going through? Okay, so they throw Yosef into a pit, and then the brothers all get together to eat, which shows, by the way, that they believe that they were doing the right thing. Like we keep saying, this is the shvatim. This wasn't like me and you, like when we're upset. The fact that they sat down to eat shows that their conscience was clear. It wasn't something like they thought like we're being bad. They really felt like he was chayav misa. Okay, now while they're eating, they see a group of Arab merchants passing by, and Yehuda's the one, the melech. He gets up and he says, instead of leaving Yosef to die, let's sell him to the merchants. Hey, ma betza, what are we gonna gain if he just dies? So let's rather sell him. Now in the midrashim over here, which we're not going to talk about, we don't have the time, but there's a lot going on here. There was almost a war. There was a standoff. It wasn't so much what was going on over here. Might be kedai if you have time to take a look. But anyways, the Shvatim then sell Yosef to the merchants for 20 silver pieces. And then they take Yosef, these merchants, down to Mitzrayim. Also, he's resold a few times. Okay, now, Reuven, if you remember from last time, when I say last time, I mean yesterday. And if you watch the other one right before this, it's 5 minutes ago. But Reuven, when he had to leave for whatever reason, which we'll talk about in a second, he wanted to come back and save Yosef. It's not like he was going to take him out of the pit and save him. The only reason he said, let's let him die, is because he didn't want to, go against all the Shvatim. So Reuven, now who left to do tshuva, he comes back to the pit to save Yosef's life. And lo and behold, there's no one there. Yosef is not there. So what does he do? He understands what happened. And he rips his garment, and he asks his brother, now what? What are we going to do now? What are we going to tell him? And this begs the question, because the pasuk said before that they'll say, what do you mean he was eaten by an animal? So I'm not sure exactly what Reuven was thinking over here, what the pasuk says, but what to think about. Anyway, so what do? They take the ksenes pasim and they dip it into goat blood, which is very similar to human blood. And they brought it back to their father and they said, do you recognize this beged? That's what they told Yaakov Avinu. Now remember that Yosef was Yaakov Avinu's pride. He was his everything. He was his child who learned with him, knew like they were so close. And they had many, many, many similarities. I think over 20 similarities. Maybe one day we'll talk about that also. 20 similarities between Yaakov and Yosef. They both had the exact same stories. And he recognizes it right away. And he says, oh no, an animal must have ripped him apart. And he is plunged into mourning for his son. And nobody was able to comfort him. Nobody. Now we're talking about big people there, right? We keep saying the Shvatim and their children. No one was able to say anything that would give him some menucha, nothing. And meanwhile, Yosef is being taken down to Potifar. So we're going to have to see what happens over here, because it's getting crazy. All right, Rabbi saying we should all be zeichet to a good day, a good week, and do not give up. Keep going strong. And b'siyata d'shmaya, we're all going to make Hashem proud. Have a wonderful day.